Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 202nd edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by Disney's number one hater, Jaden.
Howdy.
You're lucky I didn't use a different nickname right there.
Yeah.
Do you sometimes worry that, like, I don't know, that this show would be bigger if we actually just left in, like, some of the stuff we do pre and post, you know?
I don't know. I mean, how much do you actually think our real personalities would add?
Well, I don't know. Depends how much more interesting people find us.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
When they realise that we're actually just playing versions of ourselves on this podcast.
Mm.
And then
Tamer
we start,
versions, that is.
yeah, and then we start talking about farts as soon as we get off the air. Anyway, and of course, we've got our resident Irish citizen, aka Fitzy, aka Liam.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Hello. Nothing to add to the fart conversation?
No, you guys covered it all.
Well, what's the closest you've come to, browning out?
Are you asking Zach?
Either,
To the room.
No, Zach can take that.
This is what I'm talking about. See, Fitzy's determined to play the cinema critic.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the questions are for me. I can't think of a specific example.
No.
Well, obviously, I've shat my pants before.
Have you?
Are you saying you've never shat your pants?
Obviously as a child, like a young child.
But like how young?
Well, I thought this would be a fun follow-up. Like how old were you when you last shat your pants? But like, do you want to answer that? Because I'm scared of what you're gonna say.
I'm actually genuinely.
I mean, you can cut it out because you are the editor. If it's bad.
Oh no, I don't care. Well, maybe I don't care right now. Maybe that'll change. Not that long ago. As in, like, I don't know, like the last few years. Maybe like 2-ish years ago.
You need to cut that out.
No, it's fine. Well, it's a real thing.
No.
Yes, it is.
Oh, you weren't joking in your Lear review, were you?
It's a real thing.
What?
You know, as you said, Brett, it's like, it's a real dilemma people get in.
But when you say you how bad, man?
Not like entirely, like, not as in like the full. Not as in like.
Because I just imagine like the full extent. But like.
Yeah, no, not like the full stool. Like, when you. When you're like. Well, it's like you say, like, a little. There's a bit of an escapee, you know what I mean?
Yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah. And
Okay.
there's the timing's off. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. Well, if this episode doesn't now do gangbusters, then that'll be the real proof of the theory, won't it? Oh man. Anyway, I love how no one else has jumped. So okay, all right. So you clearly, you're
I can firmly assert I haven't shit myself since I was like a young child.
Really, but like how young? Are you talking about like with nappies?
Oh, I mean, probably a bit out of that, but like,
Okay. I mean, I shat myself in grade 1 too.
Yeah, I think back then maybe it's still acceptable. I'd say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't. Is it? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I should give myself I should straighten up a little bit to give myself the option to cut it if I want. You know what I mean? So we'll see. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinema Effect, the podcast where real critics review movies every single Monday. And this week, that movie is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Are the apes toilet trained? I'm sorry.
Well, they like to throw that shit, so I mean, I don't know.
True. This movie, though, it opened in the US very recently on May 10th, 2024. It was directed by Wes Ball. It is a sci-fi adventure film, and the synopsis says, many years after the reign of Caesar, a young ape goes on a journey that will lead him to question everything he's been taught about the past Sorry, I've been so thrown off by the start. And make choices that will define a future for apes and humans alike. Yes, indeed. Okay. We all saw this movie together, as I'm scared Andy will bring up later. But we went to the cinema, and Jaden, I'm curious. I think you're the biggest Apes fan of us. Actually, is that fair to say? Do you
Probably.
reckon?
I'd say so.
You reckon? Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
you've only seen the first one, right? Like the of the original, right?
Mm.
Yeah. I've gone through
That
all
makes
of them.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you like the trilogy the most of us, from what I recall from the reviews.
I think so. I was looking at like some of the Dawn and like the War scores, and I think I was the highest.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, how did it stack up?
yeah. Quite pleased with this. I was I can't remember what I said back when the trailer was dropping or like when we first heard about this. I think I definitely would have been negative at first because I think that the trilogy ending, I feel, very much similar to Andy's stance, where like you didn't need to, extend any further. But I do quite like Wes Ball, particularly for the Death Cure, and I obviously do love this world of, this planet of the apes, and I think it's a good I think it's a really solid achievement. I think there's a lack of nuance that Reeves brought with his characters and his kind of story. But then again, like this is the first one in a trilogy, and I think when you look back at Rise, I think Rise is still stronger than this. But I think that in that film, when compared to the latter ones, there is still that lacking of character. So I think there's definitely I think giving it time to grow, I think it could definitely reach similar heights of the reboot trilogy.
By the nuance, do you mean as in like the of like the apes, the morality of the apes versus the humans?
Yeah, it's
Like the
that
humans
I
kind of just
think.
suck in the other
Yeah, I
ones.
think there's a better subtlety to some of the dialogue, and I think there's a more complex in their decisions that they make.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
I think Noah's very driven by, he's very reactive, to the process. But I guess that's just like the story of the film. Whereas I think in the other ones, there's we see the apes, particularly Caesar, obviously, because he's our main, or even the humans in the other three. It seems far more deliberate rather than just reaction. But that's again, it's a different story. So you know,
Mm, yeah, I get what you mean. He's like Caesar's like the one changing the world, kind of thing.
mm,
Yeah. Um, for this movie, yeah, I thought it was decent. Um, it was funny coming out of the review. We sort of chatted about it a little bit, and out of the screening, and Andy came off more negative than I thought I felt. Just when we were talking about it afterwards, but then I read Andy's letterbox review, shout out, and I thought his review, like, I basically entirely agreed with it. Like, I thought the film was pretty boring at points, to be honest, especially like at the start, and it didn't help that I couldn't understand what they were saying.
mm.
And then it did improve. There was some peaks and valleys for sure that we'll talk about, but sort of generally speaking, it improved as it went along. And then I thought the ending was the best part of the movie. So I basically entirely agree with everything Andy said in his review in the end.
We
So
should have
yeah,
invited
it
him
was
for this episode. Why
yeah, it was a bit rude of us, wasn't it?
Yeah, why didn't we?
I don't know. There's precedent both ways,
Mm.
So it's like, sorry, Andy. Well, Andy wrote he wrote in his big piece, so it's fine. He'll have a say later. But yeah, I thought it was decent. I wouldn't necessarily say that like everyone needs to go and see this movie, but
No.
I thought it had cool aspects though, for sure. Um, Fitzy, what did you think?
Sum up the
Um.
relationship to people that work on the film.
Oh, of
Oh
course.
yeah. Sure. I got the inside knowledge. Yeah, I think I'm kind of like in between you guys. Like, I think there was enough like nuance and enough kind of um enough like the age old kind of dialogue between the relationship between the different species and that kind of the inhumanity at the core of it is kind of, there's enough newness there for it to be of value, I guess. But at the same time, I think just like the way the movie's constructed in the first like 2/3, it's very weird where you have this kind of long, like very, very long journey to this place, and you don't really know where it's leading yet. But then I think the last third delivered in this like this, I don't know, this fake Caesar thing, which I thought was really cool, and just a solid story of like returning everyone to the tribe. I thought that was like, I don't know, the bird people. It was a solid way to kind of tell a new story. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it overall, and it definitely got better as it went on. And yeah, I'm happy for that subtlety, I guess, and that nuance that was there.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So what was this was another victim, probably of a few victims of not being able to understand what the apes were saying. But like, so what was Noah's actual goal of like when he left? Well, I assume was it to find his family?
Yeah, to get the clan back.
Yeah, he wanted to return everyone back to the.
'Cause
Avenge his father, kind of, I guess, as well. But it was mainly for the clan.
I didn't understand that they were taken until we got there. You know what I mean? I sort of thought.
How did that not compute?
I thought they all died. I don't know.
No.
Yeah, I thought like I initially thought I didn't realize they were all captured, but then as it went, I was like, okay, they were, captured.
Yeah, no, it makes sense now. Yeah. I just couldn't understand anything they were saying in this movie, to be honest. I hope I felt so validated when I walked out, and you guys felt the same way. Because usually I'm the one where I'm like, I couldn't understand that.
Do you think it was an issue with the mix of the audio, or do you think it was an issue with the theater? Because to me, it felt like the actual theater audio was off, rather than it being.
Or maybe I could understand the humans fine.
Oh, you could. Okay.
I thought it was more of an intentional, like they didn't want the apes to sound too high pitched because then it would kind of be jarring. Because like there was a moment when Noah talked when his voice was high pitched for a second, and you kind of felt, wait, that was too human. That felt like a voice actor behind it. When
not even that though. Like
they also have the deep voice, it's like easier to believe. I found, but it's like less audible.
Yeah, I just think some of the other audio was also it felt like it was just wrong. Like some of the just Foley or like the explosions or like just even like the music it just felt wrong. Not just in terms of ape dialogue, is what I was meaning.
Okay, interesting. Yeah,
that's why I wasn't sure like whether it was a theater fault.
Yeah. I was leaning more towards Fitzy in that. Okay. I thought it was like more of a choice of like it's just sort of how the apes sound to distinguish them. But now that you say that, I don't know. I did find, I mean, first of all, I thought the score was sort of lacking in the movie in general. But then I also did think there were points where like the sound design was drowning out the score. But again, I don't know. That sort of sounds like a mixing thing.
Yeah. Could also be an intentional thing of like just being so embedded in nature in this far future that maybe it is meant to drown at school.
True. Yeah. Did we all agree on the score, by the way?
Yeah. I mean, you came to Passiano's defense, but
I like him. Yeah. For his other works, but the score didn't do much for me. But I know you particularly like some of the other scores. From the Matt Reeves stuff, right, Jane?
Yeah. So J. stuff was fantastic.
Yeah, right, exactly. So that's probably a bit of a standout for you then. That was a bit disappointing.
Yeah, it wasn't that the score was entirely bad. But it's like you said, like it kind of felt like a junky XL score that was lacking.
Yeah, right.
So like when you kind of combine those two, it just
The junky XL scores, they're funny because they're like, I'm starting to get to the point where they have a certain like identifiable factor.
Yeah.
But and I don't think his scores are bad, but like
no, I have his
way though.
I have his Tomb Raider score on I have a record.
Oh,
like
really?
I like his stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that movie, I must admit. But like I don't know, but I'm not like a huge fan of his. You know what I mean? I'm just like, oh yeah, that sort of sounds like a junky XL score.
Sure.
Thank God he stopped calling himself that, by the way, in the film credits.
Oh, is he purely Tom Hulkenberg now?
Yeah, it always says Tom now in the credits.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that's a much better decision, Junkie. Thank you for sparing us all that. So yeah, in terms of the engagement levels, I was interested in because how much I agreed with Andy, but I wanted to see to sort of get your guys' take on it, because for me, like, I just found the whole opening sort of bit pretty dull. The visuals are really cool, and I really like the world like they're building. And we made comparisons to, when we walked out, we made comparisons to video games we like and how the cities look like Horizon, and that made me oddly compare like this saga to like Matt Reeves' trilogy is like The Walking Dead or The Last of Us, like sort of time. Things reminded me of The Last of Us in this movie too, but I just mean like in terms of where the world's at, it's like that was The Last of Us, and then this is Horizon because of the amount of time that's passed, and the state of the buildings and that kind of thing. So I thought that was kind of cool, and I thought I like all the buildings, and I think this movie is really pretty and has a lot of cool landscapes, and just I like how they took the art direction of what this world would look like 300 years in the future. But yeah,
It's not
anyway, sorry,
300
but
years, is it? Isn't it only?
I think it's 300, is it?
Oh,
They said
bullshit,
many.
really?
Well, the film
Oh.
said many generations later, so that's obviously vague. But
Yeah, like, it could be 60 years, could be fucking, I guess hundreds, yeah.
what did you think? Like,
I thought it'd be like about 60 years, yeah.
that's not. I don't think that's many generations.
No, but then, yeah,
like
and also, like, given,
two.
like, I guess given, like, the state of the world, it probably should be further along than that.
Yeah, I think it's hundreds.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so this whole sequence of like them getting the bird eggs or whatever, and then like I don't know, and then they go back to the camp and we meet the dad and stuff. It's like, I don't know, it just all felt a bit long, and it felt all a bit like we know the beats we're trying to hit here. I've seen the kids go and try and go on the rite of passage sort of task at the start of a movie. You know what I mean? I just felt like we've been here, done that, and it was all done a bit slowly for me.
You've seen Aloy do it in Horizon.
True, I got to play that shit.
Mm.
Although Aloy as a child, it kind of looks scary, to be honest. So yeah, how did you guys feel about sort of do you agree that aspects of the movie bored you, and which parts did, if so?
Well, like the opening bit's definitely generic, but I don't think the boredom set in for me until like we're on that long journey with Noah and old mate, orangutan guy, Raka. Just because like that felt really long, and
It did.
I don't know. They traversed many biomes, and it was a bit slower. But I didn't mind the opening bit and like the kind of world building there. Wasn't too unique, but it was kind of it was unique enough in that they've kind of got their own thing going, and that they're bird people, and I don't know, they have this weird system going on.
I did like the eagle aspect of it. I thought that was cool, and it kind of, to me, thematically at least, it kind of tied together the whole, and the way it linked to the ending, of course, tied together the whole like species coming together kind of idea, and like working together. Yeah,
it does. It just kind of all of a sudden just came to my mind. It kind of feels like Mononoke-esque, like the clan, and like getting like the, like they have their elders, but they're separate to like the main law of people.
Oh yeah.
And the young male protagonist goes on like a journey, all that. And they have like this relation with animals and shit. And I was like,
yeah, that's actually true. That's true. Director Wes Ball's pitch for this film was Apocalypto with apes. I haven't seen Apocalypto.
No.
You guys haven't seen it? Oh, that was, yeah. I thought you might have.
I can watch it now quickly if you want me to validate.
Yeah, check it out. Check it out. That's what he was thinking more than Mononoke.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Is Mononoke Mel Gibson, or am I dumb? No.
Mononoke.
I mean, sorry, Apocalypto.
I think
it is. Yeah. Jen, you didn't feel any boredom?
No, I think I was too kind of enraptured in the new world to kind of actually feel bored. I don't disagree with the stuff about it being like slow or long, or even familiar. But I think I was too focused on like trying to embed myself in this world that I never really got bored. I quite liked all the discovery along the journey, and the kind of shenanigans that occur.
I liked a lot of that too. For me, I guess my boredom was a bit like my boredom was improving in that section just because I really liked. Is it Rocco or Rocco? It's Rocco, right? Rocco. Rocco. Because he was such an awesome character, you know what I mean? So it was like I was all about that dude. He was like my my Maurice of this film, you know.
Mm.
Unfortunately, it was plain as day he was going to die. Yeah, you know what I mean. The second this dude turned up, it's like you want this dude to be like, make him like the main supporting character of like 5 more movies, please. But like, unfortunately, you knew that wasn't going to happen.
No, they'll have another orangutan to replace him. Don't worry.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. The orangutan-esque character, like the orange character, he always has to be because then it's like oddly racist towards apes. But you know what I mean? Like he has to always be like the cool character, the chill character. Was that actually in the beginning scene, like what Caesar's funeral it looked like?
Mm.
That was Maurice there, right? He was there.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that. Huge shout out to Maurice. But yeah, no, Rocco was a cool replacement. I liked him a lot. The way he spoke like cracked me up a few times. Like, you know, just when they like pause, have a little bit of a pause before they say the last word in their sentence.
Mm.
But it's like endearing. I find it funny. I think it's cool. Again, I don't know if that's racist towards apes. They'd probably be offended by that. But I think it's cool. I like it a lot. And this whole, of course, the whole order of Caesar and the use of Caesar in the film I thought was really cool. And his legacy and sort of what he's standing in the world. He's basically, I don't know, would you say he's like the Jesus of this new ape world for them? That's kind of the way I saw it.
Yeah,
could be.
Yeah, his whole like, he really hangs over the whole movie, which is cool. And the way, you know, obviously the main conflict of the film comes from the fact that different characters interpret his lessons in different ways, and
a false prophet emerges as well, calling himself Jesus.
Exactly. Yeah. It's very religious, and the fact these apes, you know, basically are sort of developing religion based on real events with Caesar. Which of course were the last 3 movies. It makes them still feel very significant to watching this one.
Yeah.
It's really well linked, I thought, narratively.
Well, like there were certain homages to like the original in that, like when they walk across the sand and like how humans have kind of devolved at this point, and they're kind of living by the river with the zebras, and they kind of the way they're rounded up by the apes like they are in the original. And it's cool that they're like starting to implement that religious aspect, because that's what the original is all kind of is mainly like focused on. So it feels like it's almost transitioning into that era, which is kind of what I saw in the trailer and was like looking forward to in this. So it's cool that they kind of sprinkled that into it a bit.
Yeah, I was expecting a bit more of the original within this film, considering like the trailer. I was expecting it to be a bit more faithful, close to it. Not that I was expecting a remake or any means, but like, I don't know. Even Kojima's review, he made it seem like it was he made it seem like there was like lots more about like the original.
Yeah, well, the trailer mainly focused on the way that the humans are captured, and then Noah was kind of reacting to that and saying, "Oh, this is wrong. We're gonna fix this and like free the humans." But it wasn't really about that. It was about freeing his own tribe.
That's actually that's actually true. The movie wasn't really about that at all. But you guys know I haven't seen any of the older ones. Like, do you think they're going to build it towards it getting closer and closer?
There's a potential for it with the human storyline to kind of get to a point, but then what happens in, I think, the 3rd of the original 5, maybe the 4th, I'll have to search it up, it's pretty much impossible to do with this set with the current setup. So they won't be able to like fully go the original route.
Okay. What would like the state of the humans and where they're at?
Something else.
I did, in terms of, you know, the false prophet stuff and the way Caesar's used in the film. What do you guys think of the villains? Because, well, first of all, just that, you know, like the main like lieutenant guy for Proximus. I don't know, that main gorilla man who did the first murdering at the start of the film. Like, he was scary as. They do a really good job, and I recall this from the previous films as well, like with Kobo. I can't believe I remember that guy's name.
Good shout
but,
out.
Yeah,
I was thinking of that name the whole time. I was trying to figure out like which one he was, but he was either in Dawn. Was he the baddie in Dawn, or
he was the main villain in? He was. I think he was in both. He was in both, but he was the main Dawn villain. It was sort of his
Okay.
time to shine. I think he was there in Rise too.
Wait, how are you saying the name? Sorry, I missed it. Did you say
Kobo? Is that
Cobra?
right? Oh,
Yeah,
Koba.
Kobar. Yeah, Kobar.
Yeah, I think you're right. Shit. Yeah, my bad.
I thought I caught that, but I was like, huh, I don't know.
God, you goddamn Planet of the Apes expert. You would crush the trivia for that. But yeah, they always do a really good job in this series of like in terms of the designs of the villains and making them really scary.
Well, I really liked Proximus Caesar. Like his initial speech was pretty awesome. Like that was probably my favorite part of the film, and just the way he introduces himself as like, you know, this new Messiah, this new Caesar, and like even at the start when, you know, the lieutenant kind of said for Caesar, I was kind of like, damn,
Really
that
cool.
was a bit of a shock. You know, they were like, where are we going with this? Especially because like I don't know if they were going to continue Caesar's actual like his heritage in some way or something, because, you know, like it is many generations later, so that kind of dispelled the idea that Noah was like Caesar's son or part of Caesar's family or something. Because he did kind of look like his facial structure did kind of look like a Caesar kind of thing. But yeah, it was a cool. It was probably the best element of the film. Just this, you know, this fake Caesar kind of thing.
Definitely. I love it. I love it. Like so much about his speech was cool, but it's like, you know, obviously using, you know, apes strong together and kind of manipulating it because like it's like his version of that is enslaving them. You know what I mean? So that's like the perfect example of that. But I like how he was. What did he say? He gets up and he's like, "Today is a good day." Yes.
Oh
Like
yeah. It's
that's like so. That's like so cultish. It's cool. But yeah, no. I mean, I must say, but just while you mentioned it, Noah looks exactly like Caesar, dude. It's like I think that's intentional to sort of like ground you in, like sympathy for, like, you know, you root for this sort of protagonist. You want the previous protagonist who we rooted for. It's kind of, I don't know, represent similar things and that kind of thing. But they straight up look like it. Straight up looks like his kid. I know he had a kid in the other movies, but like,
yeah.
they look the same for sure. What was his trivia had? Noah has the same birthmark as Caesar on his chest. So it's like, whoa, are they going to
Oh,
do
I thought that was
some?
like an injury from him. Oh, okay, fair enough.
They're setting up some goddamn time travel shit here. Maybe who knows? Who knows? New ground for the franchise. Sorry, Jane. Did you have any? Did you?
No.
What did you think of? What did you think of the villains?
Oh yeah, I thought on path with you guys. I quite like Proximus. And yeah, the gorillas are quite effective, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was really cool when William H Macy mentioned that Proximus reads, like, what did he say? He reads a lot of Roman history. I think he said he mentioned that. That was just really cool. Well, hang on, but I thought apes can't read.
No, H Macy reads them too.
Oh, reads it to him. Yeah, right. That's great. Yeah, that's really cool because then, like, obviously we know that Proximus is you know, taking certain things from Caesar's history, but then we know he's also taking things from human history and ancient human history, and like he's blending all these things
from
together
real
to
Caesar's
form
history.
exactly OG Caesar's history, and he's taken all these things together to, like, you know, form his own ideology that's, you know, a bit dodgy, villain like. But
Yeah, I quite like
cool.
how, like, I mean, at the end of the day, we proved that Proximus was right in his ideology to, you know, kind of get the vault open and use it to kill the you know the remaining humans. I guess, you know, the fact that he's shown to be like, I mean, like, hold on, I completely phrased that wrong, but like the fact that he was shown to not be entirely wrong, you know, that he
Like the
needed,
humans are still a threat.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
and I like the way that, like, the movies, even like, you know, the other three, and now this one, you know, it still continues to position you against the humans, and you know, like,
Okay.
even, you know, and I like that even having this ape villain in Proximus is and it's still, you know, able to set that up, and you know,
Is that
Yeah.
so? Is that how you felt towards the humans, like at the end?
yeah, definitely. I don't want,
You felt, you saw like, oh, they're an uprising threat here that's gonna, challenge the apes in a bad way, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it just means, yeah. Well, in the end, that just means like more conflict for later films.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, it's definitely possible for them to do what the original 5 do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the humans with their technology.
As
Yeah,
in they
no.
develop more technology and then they have like a war.
Yeah, it could definitely go down that path.
Okay.
Mm.
That's cool. That's cool.
I did kind
sorry.
of buy into Proximus a little bit. Like he, I think he was a personable chap. Like the way he kind of
Cult of
talked to
personality.
Noah. Yeah, but the way he kind of like brought Noah, so I was like, we're the real deal. We can't really trust these guys, but we're gonna use them a little bit. And he was kind of a fun guy to be around. But
he was obviously smart, very sophisticated, to be honest.
Yeah.
The issue is he just killed people. Yeah, I mean, like, it's just the only downside, really. I mean, like, so you had a pretty good camp going on,
Yeah.
Like, how do you not kill those people at the start? Like, it wouldn't really be an issue.
Yeah. Pretty much. Exactly. While I mentioned the ending, let's talk about it because Andy, I know he was a big fan of this. So Andy referred to the third act in his review, on Letterboxd. For me, it was more so. I thought there were some cool like action sequences we can talk about, but for me, it was more like the actual final 10 minutes, like the final montage kind of deal. Like that was my favorite part of the movie. I just thought it was really thematically strong about really touching on these, and the score actually there was quite nice. It was like really felt like it was sort of all about obviously the future of civilization in kind of an optimistic way, but also in a way of like obviously optimistic for the human side of we were at our lowest and then was sort of seems like we're on the comeback. But then obviously brewing, like you've mentioned, further conflict with the apes is coming, and just the way that they intercut from this reveal with the humans being out there and making progress with the apes as well. Specifically with linking the two protagonists from either side, it seems like that's what they're doing. But even just the two sides in general, linking them, it's like there's obviously going to be a conflict here at some point. But at the same time, it sort of has this tone of like they both are wanting to advance and progress and looking out for themselves kind of thing. So yeah, it was a really interesting ending. I thought it hit for me for sure, because that both these sides are going to in these presumably in future movies are going to be making gains and making big plays. So I thought it was a good setup for that. I don't know if you guys enjoyed the ending as much as I did.
I probably didn't feel as strongly for it as you did, considering that I was stronger on the rest of the film. But yeah, like it's hard to kind of. I don't think I wouldn't call it the strongest part of the film. I think Proximus' stuff was probably the. They definitely do like the setup and its potential. And I think honestly seeing Dark and Lockman at the end was pretty big for me. I quite like her as an actress, and I think hopefully I'd love to see her play a bigger part in the future ones. Hopefully they do keep her around. So that was exciting, yes. But yeah, no, I think the ending was definitely strong. Yeah,
I think she had a big enough part to where they would keep her around. It wasn't like she was just there.
Yeah, but it depends on they can skip time a fair bit and just say oh, we've got a different movie now.
True. Yeah, that's true. But I feel like like I mentioned briefly, I feel like they're really setting up, which I think is actually a cool choice. I think they're really setting up May and Noah to be sort of co-protagonists of this.
Yeah.
As opposed to like the Caesar trilogy felt like it was Caesar's trilogy, with some different supporting characters coming in and out. But this feels like it's going to be their thing together, sort of thing. That's how I felt anyway about it. And that wasn't necessarily obvious from the start at all.
No, considering how late she comes in, really.
Yeah. That was probably the most surprising aspect of the movie to me, of how significant she ended up becoming.
Yeah.
And how core she became, sort of, to representing the humans overall, and what she was trying to do.
Yeah, I thought it was a cool kind of reveal, I guess. Yeah, like just seeing the scale at the end, and actually like seeing all those humans together after being deprived of it for the whole movie was kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah, that definitely, like seeing another human, like seeing when when we get there to the base and seeing them all there underground was like, it felt like visually significant, which
Yeah,
worked obviously. Humans strong together, yeah.
true. That's what they gotta communicate with their satellites,
Yeah. So what actually was on the hard drive? Like, what it was like the some goddamn like password they needed to be able to
Yeah,
chat.
it was probably like a GPS kind of thing. Like they needed like all the coordinates to line up and for the satellites to work or something, to start the satellites. Who knows?
Yeah. Makes sense. Speaking of May, I mentioned she was my biggest surprise. I liked her. I liked Freya Allen in the part. Mainly because, like, in the trailer, she just looked like, I don't know. She more looked like, like a character like the apes are going to have to take care of. And like, it was going to be like the apes, sort of like you mentioned earlier, it's like, oh, you're going to have to, like, the apes are going to have to stand up for her because she has rights too, that kind of a thing. That wasn't it at all. Like, she very much was very smart, had her own motivations, was sort of playing them as well. And I liked how at the end that was still not really resolved in that she had the revolver behind her back. Like, that was, like, I feel like it would have been a lot safer for them to, just have it be like, we're good at the end kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that wasn't really the case.
But like they call her Nova too, which is the name of the woman in the original who's kind of like helpless. So like it did make me think that she was just gonna be have that role. Because like in that movie it's like Charlton Heston's character is the one that's trying to save the Nova. But
they also give Nova to the little girl from War for the Planet of the Apes. So that was the more prominent connection, I'd say.
In this world, yeah. Because Caesar, right? So it must be in like Caesar's, I don't know, literature or whatever history passed down that like humans are Nova, like
right.
That makes sense. But of course, it all ties back to the original.
Mm.
But yeah, no, I thought she was good in the part. I think that this is her biggest, like, this is her big movie role. I don't think she's been in anything big other than The Witcher.
No. How much is she in The Witcher?
Oh, what she's like?
I know she's Siri, but like I don't know like what that actually means for like.
Yeah, she's the second most featured character.
Oh really?
Other than Carol. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Are there any other characters we're missing?
Oh, you got the two ape friends. Really? I mean,
they were whatever to me. To be honest, they more represented the generic part of the movie that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Fun.
Well, like Andy said to me, like William H. Macy was a bit like underutilized, which I think I agree with a bit. Like he did feel a bit generic in the end, but I still kind of enjoyed him. Like it was kind of a shock to see him as this ape, like this person helping the apes, and his crazy hair. He's crazy. Like it was kind of cool.
It was a shock to see him. I agree with Andy. He was totally out of place in the movie for me. It didn't work. Personally. Really? Yeah. I think it was mainly, part of it was because it sort of, to me, threw off the whole, like, the state humans are meant to be in. I know the point earlier was that May was, like, disguising how smart she was. But even when she started talking, like in Freya's performance, like even when she started speaking to the apes, she felt like her delivery was more like, I'm a smart human who can speak, obviously, and stuff, but like I'm still long removed from hundreds of years ago human society kind of thing. Like I've been born and raised in this world. Just in her delivery, she sort of spoke a bit slower and that kind of thing. William H. Macy came in and it sounded like he was just like a university professor today or something. Like he just didn't, I don't know. He felt odd to me as the way he delivered his lines and stuff was a bit too normal. Sort of like he wasn't quite like, he didn't feel like a guy who'd been living around apes for like this long. You know what I
mean? Yeah, I disagree, but
fair enough. And maybe just because I don't know, like William H. Macy is just a bit distracting.
Got a funny face.
No doubt.
I don't think he was actually intelligent. Like, I think the extent of his knowledge is from those books that he reads to Proximus. So, like, I don't actually like. I think you describing him as like kind of a university professor. I think is off base. You know, I think he only speaks that way because he has the ability to like read what is there. But people that don't, like.
Oh, yeah.
He did feel more like a jester in the way he kind of always laughed at
Yeah.
Proximus's jokes and stuff. He was just kind of there for his own survival, I guess.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I think in terms of being underutilized as well, sorry, is that like I wouldn't like given that it's Kingdom Fighting Apes, I wouldn't have really expected any human characters apart from what we saw in the trailer of May being like kind of significant. So I don't think it was underutilized. I think it played his kind of role perfectly in being this kind of
Lucky or whatever.
What?
Like a lucky for Proximus.
Yeah.
I know. It's just it was more the performance. Like it was just it didn't really fit. Like I feel like I don't know.
But I thought it did
Funny
feel like a
face.
pseudo. I thought it did kind of feel like this like pseudo intellectual. Who's kind of latching onto the strongest person that he can, or strongest person.
Yeah. No, I agree. But it felt like that. It felt like that if he was living today.
Yeah, still
To me,
no, still okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Mm.
I feel like living in this world should sort of like again. I thought Freya did a better job of it. Like it feels like she actually speaks a little bit differently, and it's like
yeah, but that's
around
because
these
she was
talking
still
apes.
trying to be cautious around the apes, whereas he was surrounded by human artifacts. So he was kind of like,
Yeah.
he's kind of able to, and he's expected to kind of embrace the human side, whereas she can't play her full, deck of cards.
Yeah.
Her full hand.
She does kind of change later.
Yeah.
Like as the movie progresses, she becomes like more what we'd expect
normal.
today, more normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. Maybe I'm misinterpreting like what Freya was going for. Yeah, that's fair. Okay. In terms of, what about some memorable? There's a fair bit of action in this movie and stuff. Some memorable sequences from it. We mentioned coming out. Oh, I did anyway. But I thought like the long grass sequence was really cool. It was in the trailer briefly, but I thought it was a really tense scene. It reminded me of playing The Last of Us Part 2, crouched, going prone, that kind of shit. They do it. There's a brief aerial shot in it where you can sort of see the apes surrounding, and it was like that did a really good job of then adding tension to when like you only get that one glimpse, and then you got to go back into the grass with her kind of thing. So I thought that was a really good use of the camera and like perspective, and being careful to only show you some part. It wasn't like you could see exactly where she was in relation to everyone at all times or anything. So yeah, I thought that was a really tense scene that I liked a lot. And then the other main one was probably like the flooding of the vault. I thought was well done. And actually, personally, made me feel sorry for Lieutenant Scary Gorilla.
Yeah, same. I'm glad that you felt that way too. I was like,
yeah,
I shouldn't be feeling sad for this gorilla that's drowning, but I'm like, it definitely is.
Yeah, I felt sorry for him. Yeah, that was a pretty good. I like that scene, and I mean that I think we mentioned the. Oh yeah. You mentioned, Jamie, when we came out, like the wet apes and like how all the animation work and all that kind of thing, the CG, and it's like in that scene, like you sort of the thing. This film is so technically impressive that it's like not even it's sort of not worth mentioning, which is sort of a disservice to it as well at the same time, because it's like the whole movie. It's like everyone understands what you're going to see, but at the same time, it is worth saying because it is very impressive that you sort of just get so immersed in it that you forget you're watching CG characters. And yeah, when you got these really wet apes, drowning apes, that's one of those small moments where you're kind of reminded of it because it's like, wow, yeah, it's animated. I think all the water was simulated in the sequence I read as well. And it's like, wow, that's crazy. So yeah, they probably piqued my interest the most in the third act. Were there any other memorable sort of set pieces to you guys?
Well, the one that I mentioned when we were coming out was Noah returning home to it on fire.
Oh yeah.
It reminds me one how it reminded me of The Last of Us, but then also like I think it's just such a kind of I think the way that he kind of approaches up the hill and you kind of see the glow and it like the kind of horror grows with him as he kind of comes up. I think is really effective and Yeah, I quite liked that opening kind of not opening, but that early action phase.
I thought when another Last of Us thing, the I don't know, video games really are all over this movie in my opinion. But when you're when the gorillas first show up and Noah's like hiding in hiding in the
Yeah.
grass and then in the car, that felt very The Last of Us, specifically in part 2, that sort of section in the middle. You know what I'm talking about, where like you first get introduced to the Seraphites and like
Yes,
you got to like duck under the cars and shit. Yeah, it reminded me a lot, and it's like the same time at night. It reminded me of that a lot. It was scary though. It was good.
I even felt like earlier in the film when Ellie first heads off and she's on like that highway just before she gets into the city.
Yeah,
it didn't feel like that.
Yeah,
like in like location wise.
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. When they're like riding on the horses and stuff in the long part. Yeah, and also the
horse,
the zebras.
Oh yeah.
Totally. It's like, yeah. Wow, I'm starting to think this is a ripoff, actually. Oh, just while we're talking about CG a little bit ago, Wes Ball. This is really interesting to me. Wes Ball revealed that he will offer. This is worded weirdly, but it says he will offer the entire kingdom as a rare before and after Blu-ray. Oh, I guess that's what it's going to be called, the entire kingdom, as a rare before and after Blu-ray bonus feature, consisting of raw dailies and a complete performance capture and VFX. So we're going to, in the Blu-ray, apparently you're going to be able to get side-by-side comparisons of the raw dailies and the final product and like the evolution of it with the VFX and stuff.
Cool.
That's really cool. He said that these are the true storytellers at work here. I want to show off what they did and celebrate it.
Do you ever think if you continued playing around with Cinema 4D, you might be in that position?
I might be able to make my own simulated hair on Proximus. Yeah. Maybe I was going in that direction.
When we were doing it, one of our mates, like he animated like a simple ocean, like in Cinema 4D, and like he was talking about like how long it took him to render that. Like I can't imagine, like any further, because like that looked fantastic when he did it.
Did you do it on those laptops?
I think he did.
Holy shit! That sounds crazy.
But yeah, like knowing how hard that was, like it just, whenever I think about like actually having to animate more than just a simple waving ocean to simulate it wet fur, fucking waves crashing in and filling up spaces realistically and all that shit, like it's just. It goes back to the thing you said where like it just kind of escapes you how impressive it really is, because it just kind of is. Exactly.
And the more the movie relies on it, the less you notice it, because unless like because it is basically this entire movie, like the only way you would notice it is if it's bad or if parts of it sort of don't stand up. But when there's other movies where it's more, there's other more human elements to it, then then the CG element comes in, and if a CG element comes in and it's good, then you're like, oh, that's really cool. They did that well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it stands out.
Even the birds were like really great.
True. 100%. Jaden, you mentioned coming out that this landscape, we've praised how it looks cool and stuff, but it basically just looks like Australia because they shot it here in Australia. Do you know where it's actually meant to be set?
No, actually, I don't know.
I do. That's why I don't want you to guess because I know.
Okay.
Oh, you can guess if you want. I don't know.
Well, I was gonna say like because like the thing with it, like when we're getting some of those opening shots of like the kind of destroyed cities, it didn't look anywhere. Like even like the one like the waterfalls, it just didn't look like what I'd expect from the US. So that's another thing that surprised me. But I guess
it's definitely the US because
I mean it's just where it is. Somewhere coastal, probably still. It still have to be West Coast, ish. Maybe a bit further up north.
You're wrong about that.
Oh,
but you're right about the West Coast. It's in the Southern California area. Rucker's residence. So the airport was LAX.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The Noah clan is somewhere within the Los Angeles basin, and the bloody old mate Proximus's base. And apparently that bridge is a bridge near San Diego, at his base. So they go down south to get there.
Which bridge?
The bridge. It kind of looked like the Golden Gate Bridge to me. That's sort of destroyed. They're sitting by the water and talking. Where it's at Proximus's base.
Really?
Oh, I thought they were cranes. Oh, wait, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. It was a bridge.
Yeah. I thought they were cranes. Okay.
Did you guys catch this? The symbol on the necklace that
Oh yeah.
Rucker has is the window design from Caesar's bedroom in Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Mm.
Does he then carry that design like further into the trilogy?
Yeah.
Like
In like
he does?
in Dawn, like they use it as like a kind of like calling card to like signify to the other apes and shit. And then I think it does reappear in War as like the kind of symbol of them.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I sort of forgot about that. I like that. Shout out to James Franco. Wait, can I say that? I don't know. But yeah, he was still important to this, apparently. Okay, we can get to Andy's review for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I'm as Andy requested, I'm reading this blind, so we'll see how this goes. If I need to cut it. He says, similar to the most recent Indiana Jones film and the Avatar sequel, my letterboxd review for this film would never be considered as reviews, but more of a long-ass reflection of thoughts that can get too weird and pointless. So I'll save Zach's breath by not making him read it, and just put the link here. Okay, thanks, Andy. Join the Discord. Despite the absence of Matt Reeves being behind the director's chair, and an Andy Serkis motion capture acting masterclass, this reboot was pretty decent. The performances were fine, but for a major Hollywood blockbuster, I did not know a single name in the cast besides William H. Macy. But I have said some great things about Owen Teague and Freya Allen after all. William H. Macy was basically wasted as he was only there to blurt out exposition. Speaking of exposition, I thought the story was initially laughable during the earlier stages, but the constant over-reliance on mentioning Caesar was more hilarious to me, but I know that's the point. Despite thinking the humans versus apes ideology becoming a more cliched than what the past trilogy offered, the viewing experience was pretty rewarding. The final act finally got me engaged, and the ending montage left me wondering whether it is fulfilled with hope or an inevitable path to further tragedy. Yeah, well said, that's true. Overall, a decent blockbuster that still needs to revise its storytelling, but I believe it'll get less mediocre after seeing the ending. Shame it was left a little too late because overall I can be the worst person to watch the reboot with as I sat down looking like the most uninterested one in the group. Just ask the Cinema Effect hosts. Oh yeah, so was Andy like noticeably uninterested to you guys?
I think I think he was giggling at parts that made me think like he wasn't like fully vibing with it, and it was just that like it kind of seemed like he was laughing at decisions. So I picked that up while while we're sitting there. Yeah.
Was he like slumped?
He was, but I didn't really take. I didn't take issue with that. I just thought I just thought that was him just sitting down. You know, I didn't think that showed disinterest.
Yeah, cool. All right, let's get to our final verdict for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I mean, I don't think the title's bad or anything, but and I know like it's obviously they've done this plenty of times before, but like something about having two of those in the title is a bit doesn't sit right with me. That's why War was better because it was War for the Planet of the Apes. That's better.
Nah, that was the worst one. I hated the 4 change.
Oh, you want to embrace the
Yeah.
Like, what's a title you can give it that has 3 of those? How would you do that?
I'm just thinking like so the originals are like what the normal. Then you got Beneath the Planet of the Apes, Conquest of the Planet. Oh no, Escape from the Planet of the Apes.
Battle for the Planet of the Apes?
No, then you got Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, and then you have Battle for the Planet of the Apes.
See, that's fine.
Yeah. So you do have some falls and froms mixed in the original as well.
But like, what is the next one going to be called? Battle. Wait, hang on. What's a better way to put this? Like, there's a better word you can use, but like, Revenge of the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
I could see the next one leaning more heavily into the Beneath aspect, given the human storyline that we were given at the end.
What do you mean Beneath?
Oh, because like the second one's Beneath the Planet of the Apes in the originals, and like given that we're shown that they with this human base underground, you know, I could see it, you know, kind of leaning more into that.
Rising of the humans of the kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
The underground of the empire of the planet of the apes.
Exactly. Anyway, Jaden, Final score.
Yeah, I was quite pleased with this film overall, but yeah, it's probably like the weakest of the modern films we have, apart from Tim Burton's one. 7 out of 10. I'll give it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I feel like I've sounded a bit more positive because I do like the way this discussion's formatted. Like, I do think like when we pick apart elements of it, I do think there's a lot of cool things in this movie and a lot of cool decisions. But like overall, like when I was walking out of it and like thinking how I'd say about the experience overall, how I'd recommend it to people, I think it was more in line with a 6 for me. Of like, I wouldn't rush out and see it if you're not already like a huge fan of this series or anything. But I don't regret watching it at all. I thought it did some things well, and I think it's, if you like sci-fi and stuff, you should check it out at some point. But it didn't blow my mind. Fitzy.
Yeah, I'll give it a 7. I think as soon as Proximus was introduced, the movie kind of won me over, and I think Proximus was interesting enough of a villain and had a good enough perspective to kind of make the film interesting. So yeah, I'll give it a 7.
Let's get into news chat. So, Fitzy, which trailer did you watch before the show?
I watched Megalopolis twice because it was just so much juice in it.
Sorry, Jaden, did Fitzy just get quieter for you?
I don't think so.
Oh, you both just got really quieter for me. Hang on, what the fuck?
I mean, I've leaned back a bit, so.
No, you both just got really quiet for me. That's fine. I turned you. I don't know what happened. Sorry, Fitzy. Yes, please, Megalopolis.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks really wacky. It looks kind of. It looks very experimental. It looks like one of Coppola's like his low budget kind of films that no one saw, but on a massive scale. Like a big budget version of those. But I think he's been wanting to do this for like years and years now. So
yeah, I think it's like his dream movie.
Yeah, but like that's what the film looks like. Like it's a massive like vision. There's like crumbling statues, massive crumbling statues, and there's like, I don't know, just it's just very colorful and it's just crazy. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it because I think it has the potential to entertain for sure, even if it's not solid. But yeah.
Did you see that there's a part of the film where a real life person comes on a real life stage to interact with Adam Driver's character?
Wait, what? No.
Like at the Cannes premiere, a person comes on stage in real life to interact with the film.
I don't understand what you mean.
What do you mean? That's just...
Is it in the film or not?
No. Like an actual person walks on the physical stage of the screening and interacts with Adam Driver's character through the screen.
I don't think that was in the trailer that I watched.
But was this an extra little bit for the Cannes audience, or like?
Well, that's what people are saying. They don't know how it's going to function for like home release or like for like just general theaters, But like,
Or was it like in the middle of the movie?
Yes. Like it's an actual feature of the film. It's an actual part of the film.
But that just sounds like, doesn't that just sound like someone who's familiar with the film, like getting up and just like playing along with the scene? Like it would just be a scene that functions by itself anyway.
I don't think so. I think Adam Driver's it's Adam Driver directly addressing that person. I'm pretty sure is the way that it seems.
That's so weird. What? So it's like could you imagine then in the final version? No, it's like an edited version of an actual scene.
Yeah, probably. It'll be like it might almost be like a zoom out to like a second kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
Something going on in the actual final cut or something. Yeah. That is utterly bizarre. But that makes sense for what I saw of this trailer. Did you watch it, Jaden?
No. I don't think I want to watch it. Yeah.
Because you're interested in the movie anyway. Yeah, I think you should be because I was going to be interested in this movie anyway because I've heard the stories about this movie for years. Francis, putting everything into this. He self-financed the whole thing. Reported $100 million. It's like, dude, talk about putting your money where your mouth is. Respect that. Respect his legacy as a filmmaker. He hasn't made a film in years. So it's like all this coming together. It's just like, oh yeah, well, why wouldn't you be interested if you're into film, kind of thing. And then I watched this trailer and it blew my mind. So I'm all in. I think it looks totally insane. But like in the best way possible for me. I hope, yeah, I don't know, like it could end up being just sort of like too weird for me. I guess that's possible, but this trailer was just like epic, and I don't know, the way the synopsis described it was like it's like a fictional like Roman epic. It's like a Roman epic set in like an American city. So it's kind of this weird mix of like they have some technology, like they've got microphones and cars, and it looks like you're in Manhattan or something. But then like all the characters dressed like Romans, and they've got like Roman. It seems like they have some sort of like Roman political system. And they
Yeah.
refer, and it's just this really interesting hybrid between like it's like if Roman culture existed today or something. So that's just a super unique, interesting sort of setting. And then the cast is absolutely stacked as well, led by Adam Driver, of course.
Who else is in it?
Oh shit, I'm gonna
Giancarlo Esposito plays the
John
villain.
Carlo. Yeah.
And I think he's Cassius, and like Adam Driver is Cesar, so like it's like, you know, the Mexican name, but it's like inspired by Caesar, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
And then there was Lawrence Fishburne was there.
yeah, Audrey Plaza, Shia
Plaza.
LaBeouf, the buff.
Yeah, the buff
She's
was
the
there.
buff.
Yeah, that's great. There's definitely more. I'm blanking on, right? I think so.
Talia Shire, who was in the Godfather.
What, the
Who's he in
original
The
one?
Godfather?
I think she's the sister. I think she's Al Pacino's sister.
Wow.
Connie? I don't know.
Yeah, Connie. Yeah, makes sense. That's it. God, wow, I didn't know she was alive, to be honest. That's cool. Yeah. Anyway, I thought this trailer like was just really unique, and like you can tell the budget behind it, and like if you're spending this much money to bring this unique of a vision to life, I think that's pretty ballsy and pretty cool. And also, don't forget. I know we talked about this like I think it was last year, but don't forget, this movie was like has been having production problems for ages, which means it's probably going to be amazing because that's how Francis works. Don't forget.
Yeah, we talked about that in the Apocalypse Now thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing again. Like we got that news article where it's like facing Megalopolis production facing huge problems, going over budget, all this kind of shit. It's like, well, it's probably going to be a killer movie then, you know. And it kind of looks like it right now.
Have you seen reactions or reviews?
So people have seen the film, I guess. Then you mentioned
Yeah.
Oh no, I haven't seen anything at
Okay.
all. I just watched the trailer.
Okay.
Have you?
Yeah. Do you want to know? Or?
Yeah. What do people think? Yeah.
It's like got like a 43 on like Rotten Tomatoes or something like that.
43.
Yeah, I think the Metacritic score is a bit better, and I think the audience is incredibly split on it. I think it's going to be similar to a Babylon situation, but I think it's going to be more divisive than that. And I think there's going to be less people on the positive side, but I think there's still going to be. Yeah. I think there's going to be a really clear case for both of sides of this. I think
that's going to be really cool. Then, yeah, we got to review that then.
And
that's really
which makes me very interested about you because I thought you'd hate Babylon watching it. So, and then you came.
I didn't want to see Babylon. Like I was because I didn't like the trailers at all, and then now it's like literally like one of my favorite movies ever. So
I wonder if you'll have an inverse effect here.
Yeah, who knows? That actually kind of makes me more curious and interested. That's cool. It's funny, the Babylon split, it was definitely divisive, but it's sort of in the end, would you agree that it sort of ended up playing out more of a split between the audience and the critics than anything?
Yeah, I think I'm not too sure about what the general populace thinks, but I think the Letterboxd audience has definitely swung around to positive on it.
IMDb's pretty, like, it's not bad either. It's pretty good,
really?
I think. Yeah.
But even like then, I wouldn't call IMDb the general populace. I'm talking about people that don't bother rating at all. You know, like what are they thinking?
My mum and dad really liked it. If that's like I don't know. I feel like it ended up sort of going that way as opposed to like I don't think the audience was that split on it overall. But maybe I don't know. It's hard to read, of course. But the trailer actually reminded me of Babylon in some ways, just in terms of its extravagance and sort of. I don't know, just seems similarly wild, I guess. Anyway, I'm sorry. The next trailer is Dune Prophecy, this television series about the Bene Gesserit that's been in development for a long time. But now there's a trailer. Wait, did you both watch it or just Jaden?
No, I was watching it, but then the episode started, so I didn't finish
and
it.
then and then the rest was history with that.
Mm.
Jaden, what do you think?
I think it looks like House of the Dragon, so it makes me not very interested, to be honest.
Wait, in what way? Like,
In premise of like kind of going, years before the main story, and then kind of looking at this previous kind of rule and that kind of thing.
yeah,
But then also
that is what
aesthetically, like you look at these shots of the throne room, or like like these cloisters of people, and like this feels like it feels you know Game of Thrones esque at the least, and then Hot D esque in the story more. So um, I don't know. I mean, I know it's only a trailer, and I know, like, obviously it's constructed for TV, so it's going to be made differently. But it seems like a lot of Denny's charm or skill that is evident in the films. It just doesn't, it's not overly evident there. I think the scale seems incorrect for one, and I think also like I think it just looks colored differently. I guess I don't know. That could just it could just be trailer things, but then also at the same time, like knowing it is going to be constructed differently, not for a massive IMAX screen, but for the silver screen.
Yeah.
It's like I
Yeah.
wonder how different that alone is going to make it feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm still like kind of keen for it, but yeah, I don't know. Didn't do a whole lot for me.
Yeah. Okay. I kind of agree with a lot of what you said individually, but like I like House of the Dragon. Obviously, I love it. So
Somehow,
like,
fuck.
you're like the only person who doesn't like it though. It's not like you make it sound like we're the outliers.
Yeah.
Um,
Like I think I even like if I like even I've got it at like a 6 or some shit, don't I? Like I'm not even entirely negative on
yeah,
House
but
of the
that's kind
Dragon.
of but like for a TV show you watch the entirety of, that's kind of low. You want it to be better than that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
At
Yeah,
least that's how I view it. But I thought this trailer looked decent. I'm interested in it. I agree with everything you're saying. I think I've just got to go in with the expectation that like it's definitely. I can't expect Denis' scale and Denis' skill as a filmmaker because I agree. I don't think it was really there, but I also don't expect it, and I also don't think that's necessarily the worst thing in the world. Just if it's telling its own sort of different small scale political. I mean, large in scale like the consequences, but you know what I mean, like being this more political thriller, in the played out in the halls of these larger, castles and kind of that kind of shit. So I'm down for that, and they're definitely. I'm not expecting the filmmaking skill, but they're definitely honoring the aesthetic of
sure.
Denis
Yeah.
films, which is great. There's a little scene where they're like using the force field shields, like training or fighting or something like that. That's exactly the same, and that's great. And the ships are the same, like all that kind of shit. Like, and obviously the costumes of the Bene Gesserit, like.
Oh, if we get more space travel, I'm definitely down for that because I think that's one thing lacking from his films. I want to see
Possibly.
space travel, man.
And just different understanding different planets and settings and stuff. And like,
But yeah, one thing I don't think I need is the demystifying of the Bene Gesserit, though. And like that seems like what the film is, so what the series is going to do.
Possibly. Yeah, yeah, I understand that, but I also think it has the potential to add to the films for me in that way. Just because coming out of part two, like we talked about in the review, like the entire sort of the way the Bene Gesserit influenced the whole story and sort of hang over the whole narrative in that film was kind of something I was still trying to wrestle with. So like maybe this context will like be able to add something to it for me, maybe. And the lead actress, I don't know her name, but like I see her all the time. She's in Chernobyl and she's really good. So you need like sort of a sort of older, strong British lady in these parts. You know what I mean? It's the same as the chick who's I can't remember her name, but the chick who's in Denise films as well. It's like those kind of actors for these Bene Gesserit parts are like always deliver something pretty cool. So that seems like a solid choice as well. Did you have any takes on? I don't know how much of it you watched, Fizzy. Did you have a take on it?
I was watching it. You did. I was watching it in silence.
Oh yeah. You saw Mark Strong, I'm sure.
Yeah, he looked cool. Yeah, I don't know. It looks cool. I don't know. I don't care about the Bene Gesserit being demystified. I want them to be demystified. I want to go into their lore and history because it's cool. So it should be good.
Yeah, cool. Now it's time for our highlights of the week. I don't really have anything this week, so I'll let Fitzy
I don't have
take it
anything
away.
either.
Oh, good.
Wow,
This is good.
lucky I watched something. Fuck.
Jaden, wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Yeah.
Get it over.
I was Justice League Warworld. Just a little treat to myself after I finished an assignment. Except it didn't turn out to be much of a treat because it was kind of a poor film. I don't like this new. So like, I don't know if it coincided with Gunn coming in to head DC. Like, but the animated stuff is taking a new direction where they've taken on a new art style and they're also building a new kind of overall story. And so far, it's just not been very strong. The Brainiac film was kind of decent. Probably like my favorite one of the few that have been released. But the World War II one was pretty poor, and this one was just beyond boring. Like the setup for Crisis on Infinite Earths is interesting, I guess, but like the actual meat of the film, which is all of it apart from like the last fucking 1 minute, it's just incredibly dull. It's anthological, and it's an interesting kind of like it takes the holy trio and puts them in a different scenario, which you think should be interesting, but it's just very dull. And like I mean, I don't like the animation at all, which I think is controversial because like when I do see people praise these films, they tend to praise the animation. And the voice acting isn't my favorite either. I think get rid of Stana Katic's Wonder Woman and bring back fucking Rosario Dawson. She was fantastic as Wonder Woman. So I don't know. It's been a struggle so far, and I hope. I mean, like it's like I hope Infinite Earths is going to be decent, but then at the same time, I hope it's not. So then we can move away from this whole direction and go back to the old one or start again or whatever. But yeah,
How many times have they started again? Or is this the first time they're sort of more connected?
I think this is the first time they're proper. I mean, so like there was a quite thorough through line in like the teens and in like the 2010s. The ones before that, I'm not really too sure how connected they are, but like whenever you like the whole like Son of Batman, Teen Titans, Judas Contract, and all like Aquaman, Throne of Atlantis, and all that shit, like they were all connected themselves. So like there has been thorough through lines before, and I quite liked that one, but they've booted it for this one. So yeah, they all end in the same place anyway. They fucking all end with Darkseid. I mean, like honestly, like why bother fucking?
Even Danny was doing that.
Yeah.
Do these all just drop on Stan when they come out, or is there a bit of a delay? Or
No, there's this one was on Netflix. They kind of changed places. I don't know. Some on Steam, some on Netflix. These newer ones have been on Netflix, I think.
Now comes the segment where we hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you, who is the best all CGI character in a movie? Nick responded, literally seconds after I posted this, and said, this isn't even a competition. It has to be Davy Jones. Interesting. Jaden, will he come up again later?
Not for me personally, but like it's a like I think Davy Jones is undeniably fantastic looking. CGI ad is probably some of its best.
It's crazy. It was 20 years ago, by the way.
20 years. 2006.
Oh, well,
I mean, fuck 18. I guess, yeah.
Yeah, 18.
Jesus Christ, man.
That's wild.
That's nuts.
I agree. Davy Jones looks really good. I certainly agree with that. And I love Bill. Is it Nye or Nye? I always forget which one we decided it is. I think it's Nye, right?
Yeah, I think
Nye.
it's Nye. I don't know.
Bill Nye, yeah. I mean, he's awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I would have come to mind more if I liked the movies more, I think. But
oh yeah, true. You're not a massive fan, are you? Yeah.
No, but he does look amazing, and I do love his voice too, actually. So like as a character, I think I can't really disagree.
He has an amazing theme song as well. I've listened to that.
Oh, really?
Repeat.
Yeah,
it's really good.
That's a Zimmer. It must be a Zimmer theme, right?
Yeah,
cool.
It is.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard that. Well, I must have when I watched it. You know what I mean? Andy said, I'm not trying to find the best or even a good acting performance out there. It's purely based on the character design itself, and the best all CGI character has got to be Jar Jar Binks. He put a gif of Jar Jar there. Is Andy trolling us with this? Or
I assume so, but you know,
he must be, right?
yeah, got it.
Yeah. I just a little teaser. I've got a video dropping very soon on my personal YouTube channel. Go subscribe, and it may touch on this subject. So there you go.
Interesting.
Go check it out. Dr. Luke said, Davy Jones is a solid pick. If we're talking strictly about quality of appearance, Davy Jones. But if we're talking about all-time best character who happens to be a CGI character, then Gollum is up there for me. And then he said, shout out to Princess Leia and Moff Tarkin. Yeah. Yeah, huge shout out to Princess Leia, for sure, as the best all-CGI character of all time. Yeah.
Do people still think that's bad CGI? Because I disagree. I still think it's good.
I don't think it's that controversial. I don't think people really mind.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't think it's great, but like, I also understand the complexity of it, and I think it was fine. I think it did it. I'm not a fan. I thought it was fine. I thought it did its job. I think it was a solid enough moment in the movie to justify it, kind of thing. I thought Tarkin was the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's that contentious
anymore.
Anyway, maybe it was at the start. I don't know. But anyway, Golem is also that's makes sense. That's a solid choice, I guess. To be honest, I thought there'd be more answers for this that I'd like. I mean, there's plenty of options, but like, maybe it's just me. I'm curious what you guys had, but like for me, I kind of thought I actually don't like a lot of these characters.
I don't know. I'm just looking now. I found Dobby. Dobby's a good choice. You know,
Dobby's a free elf. No, thumbs down.
Worst part of Harry Potter, man.
Huh?
Really?
You don't like Dobby?
No.
Oh, I like Dobby. I love Dobby.
What about when Dobby dies? Spoilers.
Terrible moment.
Do you actually think that's a terrible moment?
Not terrible. I don't like. I don't care. I don't like that. That's the emotional climax of part one.
Yeah, I mean, in the movies especially, it's kind of weird when like he hasn't been there for literally like 5 movies.
Sure, yeah, true.
Because in the books, he's there quite a bit. He pops
constantly.
Yeah, but he's saying bye to his childhood. You know, Dobby was his childhood, and
that's sad.
It's a representation of his childhood.
Yeah.
But no, Dobby's great. Dobby's a lot of fun. You know, I love Dobby. He's the best part of Chamber of Secrets.
Harry Potter gave Dobby a sock.
Yeah. I love his accent. It's great.
Who plays Dobby, by the way? I don't think I've ever learned that in my life.
I think it's a pretty. Who was it?
Bill Nye.
Toby Jones.
Yeah. I had a feeling it was Toby Jones. I don't want to fucking
Toby
say it.
Jones?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
How did I never know that? That's wild. Holy shit. That's so funny. Okay, yeah. I mean, I don't like Dobby in the Chamber of Secrets either, Jaden. I'm with you. And like, I think like the what I mentioned with his death, like it was sort of too long. But I actually think his death moment, I think is really well done. Like it sort of hits you, like even if you have no history of the character, because like he's the way his eyes are animated, you know, it's sad that he dies. So I don't know. Best all CGI like that. That's is like a scene, like emotional scene. That's pretty decent actually. So yeah, for me. Like I said, I don't know, like I was reading and it was like fucking Thanos. I'm like, all right. You know, all these goddamn like Marvel characters. I actually really enjoy Smaug in The Hobbit. I think hopefully Jaden appreciates that one. I enjoy him. I think Cumberbatch is really solid in that part. And I haven't read the book. I do want to read it soon actually, but my understanding is that the role's quite expanded. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
I don't recall.
The
book, but I mean, given that they stretched, a 300-page book into 3 films, doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I think Cumberbatch has lots to chew on there, and I think it's pretty solid. Actually, I think it's cool, and he looks the design's cool. Just like the idea of like I don't know. I feel like we don't see enough like highly intelligent talking dragons. I mean, in fiction there's plenty, but I mean, like, I feel
In
like
real
you think
life.
about the movies. Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, huge shout out to the whole cast of the Lion King remake. You know, Fizzy wasn't quite annoyed enough with me. Okay, Jaden.
A big shout to Caesar, you know, my boy, our boy, you know.
Yeah, of course. Very relevant.
What else did I found Transformers, you know. I was like, oh, dude, I was like, what Transformer do I pick? I'm like,
Yeah.
I was trying to think back to my childhood. I was like, who's my favorite Transformer, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, I think Ironhide was back then, you know.
Who the fuck is he?
I knew he wouldn't say Optimus Prime or Bumblebee. It's one that we wouldn't fucking.
Yeah.
Ironhide's the black GMC truck. He's like the weapons expert. He dies in part 3 when Sentinel shoots him in the back.
Is he only in Dark of the Moon?
No, he's in the first 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I don't even recognize this guy. I'm looking at him right now. Sorry, Ironhide. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, Optimus as a character goes hard, but I was like, is that too basic of an answer? I also said Godzilla from 2014 is a great design, great character, and then of course Paddington from Paddington 1 and 2.
Paddington.
Yeah.
Paddington. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. Yeah.
Dobby would beat Paddington up. I'm just saying in a fight.
Dobby is fucking magical, I guess.
Yeah, he snap his fingers.
True.
Yeah, exactly. No, Optimus Prime. Yeah, he is the best Transformer. He is the best Transformer.
Probably is. Yeah, I think as an adult, I think I can see at that point. You know.
Yeah, I was always a big Megatron fan too.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I might like Starscream as well. I like him a lot.
Yeah, Starscream's a bit of a whiny baby in the movies, though. Like.
Yeah, but I do love him. Is he always like that?
Is he always like that? I couldn't remember.
I don't know. I'm not a Transformers.
I think like from Dark of the Moon, I quite like Soundwave or Shockwave. I can't remember which one it was, but the one that turns into the Mercedes SLS.
Hang on, both of those are Transformers, right? It's not like you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like you don't know the name. It's like they're actually two different.
One of them's Soundwave, one of them's Shockwave. One of them has the massive worm, and one of them turns into a Mercedes. You know, I can't recall. Yeah.
The world of Transformers.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All Transformers go hard, you know. Like
we're probably going to review those soon, to be honest. As long as Fitzy doesn't hate us. Yeah. Cool. All right. As always, we'd love you to submit your questions, thoughts, and/or reviews for next week's film in the YouTube, Instagram comment sections, or join the Discord server this week. The specific question we'll be asking you is, who is a protagonist of few words that you like? Let us know. A character, it doesn't really say much, but it's pretty cool. And that is relevant to next week's film because, Fitzy, what are we doing next week?
We're doing Mad Max Fury Road.
No.
No?
Yeah.
Okay. Which is the fourth film in the fourth film in the Mad Max.
Wait, we're doing Fury Road, aren't we? Not Fury Road? Or are we actually doing Fury Road? Oh, we're doing Fury Road. We're doing Fury Road.
This is what I said at the start.
Dude, I thought we were doing Furiosa. What? Is that like
doing Fury Road and then Furiosa the week after?
Oh, okay. Oops, my bad.
Yeah.
I said no. Like when I said no, I was genuinely saying no. I was like,
yeah, that's what I was really confused. I thought you were serious. That's why I answered seriously, and then I thought I got trolled, and then I laughed, and then I hadn't got trolled. Jesus. Yeah. So yeah, we're doing Fury Road and then Furiosa. I thought because I thought we wanted to do this because we needed to revisit it because I don't like it. Well, historically, I haven't seen it in fucking. Oh God, I almost haven't. It's been 10 years almost. So probably we'll see if Zach has another example where he changes his mind or not.
I feel like you probably embedded yourself too deeply in this position to change.
No, I honestly haven't. I'm honestly very open-minded to it. I was just kind of bored watching it the first time, and I've just always go back to that experience. But like,
did you watch it in the theater or did you?
No.
Mistake number one. No.
Yeah, probably. Honestly, yeah. But I won't be either this time. Sorry, did you say that's on? What did you say it's on?
Oh, I didn't. What is it on?
I think it's on Stan.
Stan? Oh, it's always been on Stan, hasn't it? Yeah, it's on Stan. Nothing else. So.
Check it out. Check it out. Okay, everyone's probably seen it, but all All right, that's it. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Appreciate Liam and Jaden for joining me as always. Have a great rest of your week and goodbye.